So are we done with this idea that Denzel Mims is a wasted roster spot? Well, hey, everybody, this is GreenBean, and we are going to dig right into something that we've been digging into for years, but we're going to look at it from a different angle. I'm telling you, this guy comes up all the time. And it's for good reason, because it's confusing, right? It's a confusing question. Well, let's take a look at it maybe from a different angle, use some recent events, and see where we really stand. Before I get into that, I do want to remind you, it's really nice. It's really, really nice if you would consider hitting that little thumbs up button before you go. Wait to see if you like the video. Then hit it if you do. And you can also hit that subscribe button. It changes the dynamic of the channel. It's the only way I can grow over here, and it is appreciated. Thank you. Thank you so much for all who have already done it and for everybody considering it right now. Thank you. So guys, Denzel Mims. Here he is. He's been a healthy scratch after really lighting it up in the final preseason game. We know he had 605 yards with 12 touchdowns, whatever it was. He looked good, right, in the final preseason game. But it's an interesting thing with Denzel Mims because for whatever reason, he has received such a high level of ire from the New York Jets fan base. It's something like I've never seen before. I'm going to honestly tell you, I do not recall any player getting this much for lack of a better word, hate than Denzel Mims. I just can't think of another player that has received it. Now, right now, Zach Wilson's going through it a little bit. We've had quarterback, maybe Sam Darnold at the end, but not like Denzel Mims. He had a good rookie season with COVID and all this stuff, right? He comes in, he plays well with Joe Flacco. Sam Darnold can't find him, but he has a good rookie season. He proves that he can get yards after the catch. Comes in to the Saleh regime. They don't like him for whatever reason. He gets food poisoning. He loses 20, 30 pounds, whatever it was, from the salmon, right? We have the salmon episode. He comes in week one. They don't use him all game. He comes in, 3 plays. He gets a 40-yard pass, right? Then he's a healthy scratch week 2 and 3. And he comes in the next week and he gets 2 catches for 33 yards, I think it was. And every time the guy comes in, he just does something. The thing that he does is he gets yards after the catch. But for whatever reason, this organization is making him learn 3 positions. We're getting reports that for the first time in his whole career, he can't figure out the offense. Maybe because he's learning 3 positions. We don't know. But he plays 270 snaps last year. 270 snaps. Most of which were run plays, which I'm not sure if a lot of people know this, but he is a very, very strong blocker as a wide receiver. It's something he has in his game and that he brings to the table. We saw it just a couple weeks ago on the Breece Hall touchdown run. We saw it. He's a good blocker. He takes his guy and he gets him out of the play. He's done it numerous times throughout his career, and he was doing it in 2021. So 270 plays, he has 5 penalties, which people blow up like it's 100 penalties. I mean, look, Dwayne Brown had 3 penalties 2 weeks ago in 1 game. We didn't bench him for Connor McDermott, right? And the thing is, like with Denzel Mims, he would come in, he would have a bad play or get a penalty, whatever, and they would bench him. So he comes in for 6 plays, he does something wrong, and they bench him. Where Dwayne Brown or anybody else, Ty Johnson, they leave him in there and they let him overcome it. So now he's playing, after 4 weeks, 5 weeks of being a healthy scratch, he's playing out of necessity, right? They don't want to use him. They just, they gotta use him. So he comes in the other week against Denver, and he does a block on the 1 touchdown of the game. Okay, key block. Last week he had 1 catch in Denver he threw a 1-yard catch. He made it 4 yards because that's what he does. He knows how to fall forward. He knows how to get a couple yards. This week they put him out there for a few plays, and he gets 2 catches. Really should have been. He had 3 targets, which was the real high point catch that Zach Wilson threw out of bounds. It would have been a great catch out of bounds. And then he has the other 2 catches. He has 2 catches for 76 yards. So for the year, he's got 3 catches for 80 yards. And we see this, right? We see it. You throw him the ball, he catches it, and he runs, right? It's very, very simple. And he's a good blocker. So he's playing out of necessity. And now we start to see it. Look at the play last week. 63-yard, I think it was. Zach Wilson throws, nice pass. He catches it. He gets walloped. And then another two guys try to tackle him. He just keeps going down the field and he makes it a 63-yard reception. And this is the stuff that we're missing. And we got to ask ourselves why. Why are we missing Denzel Mims? What is it, man? Is he stupid? What is it? No, Saleh's on record as saying he's one of the 6 best receivers on the team, and that's why he hasn't gotten traded, and we still love him and all the jazz. So it's Jeff Smith, right? It's Jeff Smith that's in front of Denzel Mims. And the reason being, because Jeff Smith is supposedly so important to special teams that he supersedes Denzel Mims' value, right? So let's take a look at Jeff Smith. Now, Jeff Smith is also a wide receiver. He gets in there. Jeff Smith has played 103 offensive snaps this year, and he's got 3 receptions for 50 yards or something along those lines. 51 yards, right? So that's not it. We're pushing Denzel Mims to the side for Jeff Smith, who's got 3 catches for 51 yards. Now, he had a good catch last week, too, and you know, you don't want to take anything from him. But where's the value, right? So Jeff Smith's value is supposedly special teams. He played 67 special team snaps this year, which is approximately 30%. So there's 70% of the special teams snaps that aren't Jeff Smith. Now you got to add punt and whatever, kickoff and kick return and field goals and everything. And he's primarily used as a gunner. So it's about 30%. Now, Jeff Smith isn't exactly lighting it up. I couldn't find how many tackles he has. Maybe you can help me, Nania, if you're out there, any of these guys. But I couldn't find how many special teams tackles. I found a percentage in the plays, but not the tackles. Maybe he doesn't have any. I don't know. So we have to ask ourselves. We can see it. There's a difference between Denzel Mims and Jeff Smith while they're on the field. Whether it's blocking, Denzel Mims is clearly a better blocker. Yards after the catch, Denzel Mims is clearly better than Jeff Smith. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things. Like, we're kind of looking at one guy and putting him in through a gauntlet that the other guy's not expected to have to endure. So we have to ask ourselves, are we done with this bullshit experiment that Denzel Mims can't be an asset to the team? Is Jeff Smith's 30% on special teams, is that value really more than what we saw in the Patriots game? Imagine Denzel Mims is out there for 80% of the snaps, like Elijah Moore's previous, the ones that he was complaining about, not being used. Remember? Let's just say Denzel Mims got Elijah Moore's snaps for 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. Imagine. Let's say that happens. Do you think Denzel Mims's value would outweigh Jeff Smith's 30%, 67 special team snaps so far this season? I don't know. I think it's time. Now, Robert Saleh, in his most recent press conference, said, with Corey out, getting Mims out there to play that Z is important. Play that Z. Now, why do they want him to play the Z and not the X? Well, Garrett Wilson's probably a better X, being able to lose that cornerback at the line. Garrett Wilson's footwork, I don't think anybody's going to argue, is a little snappier than Denzel Mims. But they also want to put Denzel Mims in motion, and the Z can do that. So putting him in there, getting him to crack back, crack down on the line, all that kind of stuff. Don't forget, Denzel Mims is a good enough blocker to actually assist with defensive ends and that sort of stuff. So he can do all that. It's nice to hear Saleh say this. We know it's out of necessity. If Corey Davis was in there, we wouldn't even be talking about it. But maybe while Elijah Moore's having his crybaby fest and whatever he's doing, and Mike LaFleur can't figure out how to use him, maybe it's time that we just put Denzel Mims and just treat him like he's a member of the team, and let's just use him as a wide receiver. What do you think? Let me know in the description. Are we tired of pretending the guy sucks? Why? What are we doing? Why do we got to do this for this guy? 6 foot, he's the only receiver we have that has his measurables, and he's never done anything wrong except get food poisoning and COVID in the same year. Can we stop? Can we stop already? Let's see what happens with Denzel Mims if Zach Wilson can get him the ball while he's running for his life from all the guys that are on the Buffalo's line. Let's see how it goes. Let me know what you think in the comments. Are you done? Are you ready? Or do you think a 4th round pick, a 5th round pick is better than what Denzel Mims can bring to the table? Let me know. I can't wait to have this discussion again from this angle. Have a great night, everybody, and go Jets.